Let's see. Hey, what up there, Don? How you doing, Don?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How old are you for TikTok purposes?
I'm 40.
Okay, cool. So what do you want to talk about there, bud?
I just want to tell you that, God does exist, and you better believe that he does exist. It's very important for everyone to believe that he does exist,
Why is that?
because he's the creator of all things.
Where's your proof for that?
And the things that you don't see. Let me tell you something.
Where's your proof for it?
Okay, it's hard for me to prove it to you, but let me tell you just something that happened to me, because I used to kind of be the same. I used to be in like your shoes, not believing, but until this miracle thing that actually happened, what I did, I kind of like did a challenge, I
Like a TikTok challenge?
no TikTok challenge. It's just like me kind of, wanting to know if God really does exist. I basically, I was at work one day, and
Oh shit!
I looked at the weather channel. Weather channel said it's not gonna be raining all day, so there's no rain at all. It didn't even look like it's gonna rain.
No,
Okay.
oh fuck! Did you go outside and dance naked?
Almost.
You almost stripped down, butt ass naked, went outside and danced to get some rain.
But let me tell you something. So
Yeah, it's a pretty cool party there.
I stood next to a tree that I was close by, and it was slow. So I asked God, I asked for the creator of everything, the living and non-living, whoever's in charge. His name may not be God, it may be something else, but as far as I know, I asked for the creator. And I asked him that, I want it to rain in the next 5 minutes exactly. And believe it or not, I know you're
shit!
not gonna believe it, but it did rain.
Oh shit! It rained. Oh fuck! So you mean a very predictable natural event happened right when you were wanting it to happen, and therefore God?
No. You're opposing this, the wrong way. You're not registering it completely.
Oh, am I not? How should I register it more accurately? What's the magic? What's the magical part of rain? Like the process of the water cycle. Like where's the magic in that?
It's up to God. It's not up to the how it's going to transform. God create everything that happens for a reason.
Oh shit! Does it?
Thing. And, let's say, for instance, you want to get to work, but you can't make to work because your battery died.
So children get graped by priests for a good reason. Is that what are you going to make that particular thing?
That's a big sin. It's a sin. And
is it a sin though?
Of
God in Numbers 31, God specifically has the Israelites go in and take a bunch of pubescent girls and end up graping them to marry them. So it kind of seems like God's perfectly fine with graping small children.
Where does that say that?
The concept of marriage in the Old Testament and for the Israelites was pretty much just having sex. And so because of that, when in Numbers 31, when it says that they took the small girls as spoils and they married them, that means that they forcefully copulated with them, meaning that they raped them. And that's how they took on a wife. And so, yeah, I mean, that's how I get there. God seems perfectly fine with it.
But God gave you common sense, right? God gave every single person a brain. What's right, what's wrong.
No. Actually, that's a very subjective statement there. I mean, you're jumping across a whole bunch of different topics here. But as far as morality goes, God, depending on your theology, God doesn't care about your morality or your conduct. He only cares about whether or not you believe in him. I don't know how you take that. Like, do you think that you have to do both works and faith and have faith in order to get into heaven? Or, is it just faith?
It's definitely faith. You have to believe in God alone, the one God, the creator of all things. There's one God for every single person. There's no elephant.
Okay, so Don, let's not get off track here. Listen, if you believe in Jesus, right? If you believe in God and Jesus as his son, can you go to hell?
Repeat that one more time, please.
If you're if you believe in God and Jesus as his son, can you go to hell?
Well, I'll tell you something. Okay, first of all, I don't believe Jesus is God's son.
Okay.
I don't believe that, because if he is, then we all are. Because he.
Right.
It's like this. Whenever you're inside the womb, right? You don't see anything. You don't see anything. You don't think of anything. And that's the reason why I don't believe that Jesus is God's son, but I believe that Jesus was someone special.
Okay, so you're not Christian.
I am not Christian.
Okay, well, what kind of religious person are you then?
I am a submitter.
I don't know what that means.
I submit to God alone.
I still do not know what that means. Which religion do you adhere to?
There is no religion.
Yes, there is. There's many religions out there. Christianity's one. Hinduism's one. Buddhism's one. Like, there's a lot of religions out there. So, I mean, which one are you just in general atheist that you don't adhere to any, like, organized religion? You just make up your own bullshit, like, theology?
No, I don't make up my own bullshit. I believe.
If you're submissive, does that mean that you have a choker that you wear all the time?
I'm a submitter.
Right, that's what I'm asking. If you're a submitter, you got to wear a choker, right? That's one of the rules. I don't know how that works.
What do you mean by choker?
A choker. It's one of those. It's kind of like a necklace, but it really fits tight to your neck.
No,
and everything.
I don't wear anything. I don't even believe in wearing an engagement ring. I mean.
Are you engaged?
I'm married.
Okay, then you wouldn't be wearing an engagement ring, anyways. You'd be wearing a wedding band.
Yeah, I don't even wear one of those.
Oh, so is it so that you can cheat easier?
No, because I know I won't cheat my wife and she won't cheat me.
Okay. I mean, I'm married and I wear a ring because I respect my wife. But anyways,
and you can do that, and that's perfectly fine. Honestly, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, I really don't know how to engage with you because you're just making these very generalized subjective claims about God, and you're using a lot of arguments that are typically used by those of the Abrahamic faith or, organized religions. But then I feel like that means that if you don't have those kinds of theological foundations, then there's no way that you could say, oh, well, God,
I did find my foundation.
Which holy book do you follow?
Whenever I ask God, I literally don't follow any holy Bible. I mean, some things are facts in every holy Bible, and some are.
Okay, Don, I'm really trying hard here. I'm trying to understand what your theology of God is, and it's like pulling fucking teeth now. Okay.
I mean, there's things that I would tell you, like, for instance, I believe in the Bible. Some, not all, some. I believe in the Torah. Some. I believe in the Quran. You know,
Okay, I'm sorry, Don. You're just
but
treating religion like a buffet, and you're just picking out whatever you like. This ultimately, I
I'm
think that
not.
this resolve. No, you totally are. Ultimately, this just resolves to you having this certain idea in your head as to what God is, and so you're just picking and choosing from different religions in order to build this Frankenstein version of
You know
God.
what I would suggest you to do one day. You know, ask for the creator. Ask him that you want something or whatever it is that you need, or
Where does it say that your creator, your God, should interact at all with human beings?
ask one day. Ask, and you'll see some signs. They'll pop up, and that's when you have to
Why?
have a
Why?
belief.
But that will just lead to confirmation bias, Don. Legitimately, that's problematic. That is not a way to test anything. All that's going to do is if you ask for something, then you're going to look for any sign that exists. And like, if you ever bought a car and then when you went to look at a model of car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere, that's a type of bias. So you can't use that as a method to confirming your God's existence.
I definitely believe in God, and I know God is he's out there, and he's everywhere. So as far
What's your
as
proof? What's your proof that
I
that's
can't say he or she, really. I can't say, but I know there's a creator out there,
how do you
and
know that?
I believe in it because I've asked for something and it's happened to me, exactly for with the timing that I asked with. It's impossible
No,
for something
that's that again.
right to
That's
happen.
what Ashlyn was talking about. It's confirmation bias. Like you asking for something that can predictably happen, and then it happening at some point is not proof that your God is real.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. If you say Elon Musk went to the moon 100 years back ago, you say there's a guy that went to the moon, you would say you wouldn't believe that. But now he everyone's going to the moon.
Nobody's going to the moon. What the fuck are you talking about?
Actually, we are going to the moon. We do have a mission for that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's up in the air right now because of Elon Musk. He's definitely trying to destroy NASA and basically replace NASA with SpaceX, and he only cares about going to Mars. And Trump hasn't actually talked about going to the moon, but I do know what you're talking about.
Well, my counterpoint is there's also predictions that didn't come true. And if you just have a bunch of people making different predictions, it's very likely that if they're possible that one of them will eventually come true. So that's also not going to prove the existence of a God. People who are atheists also make predictions about the future and they come true.
And see, there was another thing you mentioned. You mentioned that there's no soul. There is soul, because
Prove
I'll,
it.
I'll. Well, it's hard for me to prove it to you because these things actually happen around me and my family and others close to me. And a gentleman had passed away in the hospital. He was a very, I would say, non-sinner. Um, in his soul, inside the room, the one of the girls saw it just lifting upwards, and
I can tell you right now, Don, this anecdotal story that is not in any kind of way verifiable and is not going to be proof of anything. So, like, I feel like you need something that's a bit more verifiable than anecdotal evidence.
Don, are you Latin? Are you like Latina or Hispanic?
I'm not. I'm actually from Europe.
Okay,
I'm
you're
Mexican.
European. Okay. I'm just wondering because there's a lot of like cultural beliefs that happen, and cultural beliefs can also lead to what we call like bereavement hallucinations. But it can also happen in Europe when people get exceptionally stressed. They can see things that don't exist.
Well, the girl that I know, she had, from what I known, she wasn't stressed out at the time where she was there, and she had just came from a different city to come in, to for her to give her condolences to that person.
Okay, I don't see how this is helping your case at all. This still ultimately resolves to an anecdotal thing, and like Ashlyn just pointed out, these bereavement hallucinations are a real thing.
Well, of
so
course,
like,
God is not just gonna come and tell you, "Hey, hello, I'm here."
why not?
Believe in me.
Why not?
Because it's created this way. The world
Is God all powerful?
the world's created as a test.
A test, like a math test?
It's a test.
Wait, so God is like, God is a jerk. He's like putting me here to see if I make the right moves and make me suffer. Like he makes children with cancer suffer as a test.
Children's with cancer, I'll tell you, in children's that are also like with autism, disorder, all these things, they're automatically going to heaven. So there's no, it's
But
like
he could have skipped that and made it not the thing. He could have just sent them to heaven. He didn't have to make it exceptionally painful and scary.
Don, are you just...
If I'm more loving than God, it's telling me that God probably doesn't exist. Because I would never test someone to see if they would see if I exist or believe in me. That's very narcissistic.
Don, are you just pulling shit out of your ass as you go along, or like do you actually have some kind of thought out theology on this?
I know God exists, and trust me, He does. There's over a billion people that believe in God.
Okay, appeal to popularity is not going to work here. There's not proof of anything. Like, it's definitely not proof of,
And they're gonna stay. They're gonna, stay in their own shoes. That's what they're gonna believe in. They're not gonna change.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm thoroughly, uninterested in this kind of buffet style theology that you got going on here. Because all you're doing is you're just ad hoc stating things about God with no proof that
God does not exist.
I don't have to prove to you that God doesn't exist. You have to prove to me that God does exist. That's how,
prove to me that God doesn't exist.
I'm not making a positive claim with this. I mean, I know that I am up there, but if you were a Christian, I'd be able to specifically, do that. So this up here doesn't apply to the conversation right now because you seem to not be Christian. If you adhere to any kind of the Abrahamic faith, I'd be able to make a positive argument. But since you're just got this sort of ad hoc style, buffet style theology going on, this whole idea of God, I'm not the one that's making a positive claim. You're the one that's making a positive claim about God. So you have to back that up with evidence. If you don't have evidence, perfectly fine. You want to continue to believe in that kind of delusional shit, then go right on ahead. But don't sit there and say that I need to believe in it just because you believe in it. And also all those billions of people that you're citing for proof that God exists believe in a totally different God than you. And each individual faction believes in different versions of God. So like maybe get your shit together first before you start, making these wild accusations that I need to disprove your God.
You're telling me, okay, how did this entire world start?
So like, you mean Earth or the universe or reality?
Universe.
The universe. So there was an inflationary event where the universe near instantaneously inflated, and this was most likely due to a fluctuation. There are that we have we've got experiments that show the energy that's contained in quantum scalar fields, and we know that a large release of energy happens there, so it's most likely that's what caused it. And also we do have pictures of the early universe in the cosmic microwave background radiation. We actually have a picture of the universe after it near instantaneously inflated.
That
So
is not true.
it is true.
It is not true. You're making things up.
Well,
I'm not.
it absolutely is. If you look at the current model of the universe called lambda CDM, lambda cold dark matter, it absolutely is true. We use redshift. This is just the standard model in current physics.
So you're saying the moon, the sun, all that came from it.
So that's why I was asking specifically about what you meant. So the moon, the sun, our Earth, that didn't come until many billions of years later. So like our Earth is only 4.5 billion years old, and our solar system is a bit older than that. And they didn't form until much later.
It's hard to believe.
It's not hard to believe. We actually have done tests on zircon crystals, and some of the oldest zircon crystals allow us to date when the Earth actually formed. We can also take meteorites that have crashed into the Earth that were most likely formed around the time that our solar system was forming. Those also date to 4.5 billion years ago. And we've also been able to see like stars explode out in the universe, and we know that, you know, heavier elements are ejected from stars and all this other stuff. We've even seen some huge gas clouds collapse and start to form solar systems. So I mean, you know, we've been able to either observe or infer all of these things that we're talking about here tonight. You just denying it is you just being anti-scientific because it doesn't work with your God model.
God is actually the one that's controlling everything.
How does that work in practical reality? Like how God being a fucking wizard up there, how does that actually operate in reality?
So you don't have free will, Don? Under
Free
your
will,
will,
such as what?
you can choose to do things and do them as you wish. Within the bounds of the reality in which you and I should be a part of. I'm assuming we're a part of the same one. You cannot fly if you just wanted to. You can do things within the bounds of our existence here. Are you able to choose things without an underlying cause? Is God the one that is making you choose a Diet Coke when you want a Diet Coke?
Absolutely, yes.
So why is he sending anyone to hell?
Well, it's God gives us the brain between the wrong and the right. God, what do you mean God's sending who to hell?
If he's making all the choices for everybody.
Yeah, but there's times where you're gonna change it.
You just told me he's the one that picks it. Or they, I guess you said it.
So let's say,
he or she,
God forbid, but you get in an accident, right?
That would be God.
What is the very first thing that you say?
What is the very, I generally swear. I'm not going to say the profanities I say when I get in an accident on a live.
I don't know what to tell you guys, but you know, I would tell you take some time alone, honestly, and you know, ask God for forgiveness first, and then after that,
what do I need to be forgiven of?
Just you know, for things I ask Him for forgiveness too. You know, things that I've actually done. You know,
I thought it was God doing it. You just told me it's God doing it.
God controls everything, but there's things that's what I'm saying. There's things like God gave you a brain, don't do this, don't do that.
So we have free will under your worldview.
We have free will unless you don't do bad things.
You have free will unless you don't do bad things. So when you do good things,
You stay away from bad
God
things.
is forcing you to do good things. You never actually do good things on your own.
I mean, everyone does good things, in their life.
I am entirely confused on.
I've been getting confused this entire time.
Like free will exists, but it kind of doesn't. But it sort of does when it's good things, and then God gets credit for it because it's Him doing it. So the only things that bad things are us, and good things are God.
And then also like some things are like, as far as genetics, with these, like for instance, I'm gonna throw an example out here. You say, oh, why is this person, disordered, or why is this person handicapped, or why is this person has autism? Okay, where does all this come from? Do you know what you're eating? Do you know what you're drinking?
I'm sorry, you don't get autism from eating a hamburger or something.
What?
It's things that you put in your body as well.
No, there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that autism
because we haven't
because
gotten
of
to that.
environmental factors such as food choice.
There is. You better believe
I
it.
literally have a degree in psychology. There's not.
But there is, but it hasn't actually came out yet.
No, oh my God. I'm sorry, Don, I'm thoroughly uninterested at this point.
Wait a minute, guys. Let me explain. It's like this, as I was explaining earlier, 100 years from now, if you say, oh, we're going to go to the moon, you would be like, what a dumb thing. This thing doesn't exist, You would say these things, but the studies haven't been there yet. We're not there yet, guys.
Okay,
we've already debunked these factors with autism, like with vaccines and all of that. We've already substantially seen that there's not a correlation in environmental factors such as this. So unless it somehow changes in the future, we don't have any evidence to suggest this.
Exactly. We don't have things to prove it at the moment, but after us, maybe with the newer generation, they might have these things. Every year passes by.
It doesn't, the beliefs don't work that way. You don't believe in things that you don't have evidence for. You gain evidence for and then obtain a belief.
See,
you're a little
you guys are
backwards on belief systems.
You guys are completely thinking the opposite.
No. Here, Don, how about this? I think that you've
for me.
unalived someone. I think you're a schmurderer.
It's impossible. Only God can.
No. I think you are, because I form my beliefs first and then I collect evidence. I in your worldview, I can do this because that makes sense.
Well, you're jumping into something, it's very hard to honestly you're jumping into something where, or maybe it's not approval of God, of something for it to happen.
Are you having a stroke?
Don, I get that you have a lot of thoughts here. And so why don't you go brainstorm them, get them written down or something. And then why don't you come back with a more ironed out.
You got to believe in it. You got to believe,
No, I don't got to believe in shit. Bye, Don.
Do you know what the numbers are of autism right now?
Bye, Don. No, I'm not going to allow that. No, I'm just not.
Gosh. Not with the current health administration. I wish we could do that to RFK. Fuck
Yeah,
RFK.
I know. Just fucking hit that disconnect button and just get him the fuck out of there. That'd be great. All right.